Good evening once again, Ronald. What can you tell us about the course of the storm? Is the worst over or is the worst still to come?
Well, Sally, the storm is expected to continue until tomorrow afternoon, but what we've seen today, the worst is still to come, as what we've heard from forecasters. We were also earlier today at the NSRI, where they were speaking about some of the rescue operations that they conducted at the seas, saying that they had to conduct 4 rescue operations at sea, and they've warned people not to be swimming or even having any activities at sea, given that some of the high seas, as we saw earlier in the day, that there is a lot of cause for concern in terms of some of the danger levels. But as you alluded to earlier on, we were in Vygieskraal, where I'm sure there will be many unanswered questions from that Steenkamp family. The young girl, and this is from eyewitness accounts, people that we spoke to on the ground, saying that they saw the young girl walking close to the canal. Now, the canal, I've been to Vygieskraal in that informal settlement quite a number of times, and I've seen that particular canal, usually very shallow water, Sally, but given the extent of the flooding that has taken place today, it is quite deep. People saying that it is quite deep, so she possibly didn't have a chance. But what is even more tragic is someone who witnessed the girl inside the water trying to save the girl. Now, this gentleman is also believed to be missing. Now, rescue operations started sometime this afternoon and had to be halted, given that it is quite late, and also the rain also caused quite a number of issues for rescue workers. So there are still very much no hope for these 2 people in terms of their survival. But the family is still hurting. I mentioned earlier on the mother, we couldn't speak to her. She's under police custody and also receiving counseling for this.
It's absolutely sad, and just to see that father's face, the devastation in his face, was truly heartbreaking. Ronald, what kind of a night can Cape Townians and people, particularly we think of the homeless and those in informal settlements, what kind of night are they in for?
People can certainly brace themselves for a very tough, hard night of cold and wet weather. I mean, when we drove into some of the parts, some of the worst affected areas, we saw quite a number of people walking through the flooding, and some of their structures really damaged through the floods. And we can only expect more, Sally, given that also we also spoke to a number of NGOs who are willing to assist the people at this time. So that is some comfort for them, given that a lot of the people that have been affected are from informal settlements. Where we are at the moment, it's just a stone's throw away from our offices, but we are seeing quite a number of homeless people cuddling and just, trying to keep warm, given that it is quite freezing, even where I am standing, Sally, because even the rain is coming, but even the umbrella, it can't assist me. So I can't be shielded in the umbrella, given that there's also strong winds. So Cape Townians can certainly brace themselves for a tough and cold night. And also throughout the Western Cape, we've seen quite a number of images as well, where trucks were flipping over, were overturning, Sally, given that there are strong winds. But we're also waiting to hear from disaster management, who we spoke to earlier in the day, and they basically said, Sally, that there are not so many serious incidents before what we heard in Vygieskraal happened. So they are optimistic, besides what we heard from Vygieskraal, that not many more fatalities will happen, but surely some people will definitely be without homes or be worst affected by these floods.
A tough night ahead, and Ronald, thank you very much for bringing the latest on that cold front, those gale force winds that have hit Cape Town. Ronald Masinda in the Cape Town CBD.